What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is January 4th of 2021. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's update, we've got a lot to catch up on in regards to cryptocurrency markets. Bitcoin, yet again, setting multiple all-time highs and climbing up to $34,000, yet over the last couple of hours, crashing to $28,000. We'll talk about what we need to look for there for Bitcoin. But along that as well, Ethereum climbing up above the 4-digit range over $1,000, the highest level it's been in over 4 years. We're going to be talking about what this means for altcoin markets as we also see dominance surging up over the last 48 to 72 hours. Could this be the altcoin cycle that we're looking for? So we've got lots of things to discuss. Let's go ahead and dive straight into it, guys. Well, the first thing I want to start by, as we take a look here over the last 24 hours, we see here not only that Ethereum is leading the market here in the top 100, but we've got a wide range of different altcoins, either in the green or holding relatively neutral, with some other cryptocurrencies following down with Bitcoin on the tail end of this list here. That's an important thing we're going to be hitting on later on as we focus in on altcoins. But above all, the key thing I wanted to hit on here is that there's some good news. All we're going to be talking about today is price action, because there really isn't much headline news that is leading the market to doing what it's doing. It's simply purely people focusing on what the market's doing right now and building positions. We've got a lot of excitement, a lot of almost anticipation for getting into crypto markets, but also some fear of taking profits as things have gone nearly parabolic. And it's increased volatility to a degree that even I didn't expect we would see at this point, guys. It's absolutely insane. So if you're here right now, you're here at a really interesting time. All right, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the important things going on here. If we take a look here on the 30-minute chart here, we can see that we climbed all the way up here towards a high of $34,778, almost pressing towards a big even level of $35,000, collapsing all the way down here to $28,000 for Bitcoin. Now, just to go ahead and get some perspective here about how significant this drop is, taking it from top to bottom here, we saw a nearly 20% correction overnight here in Bitcoin's price. That is absolutely insane, guys. Just again to see this kind of movement in Bitcoin's price here over a single day is quite substantial, and it wiped off a lot of market cap. At the same time, even though we haven't fully recovered, we have made a nice rebound here. The relative peak here over the last couple of hours, really just a little over 2 hours, was 11%. But right now, we've recovered officially around 10% even here right now. So again, a nice rebound. Not exactly up here to $35,000, but it looks like there's a good chance that Bitcoin could recover the majority of its losses here. Now, just taking a look here at the daily again, this kind of, or excuse me, the weekly chart here, and we'll dive into the daily in a second. Is this such a big shocker? Is this really that negative for Bitcoin? No. I mean, first off, we're still well beyond, we're still above 50% from the all-time highs if you want to drag this down, right down to about 55%. But guys, we were up here, just for some context. I don't know why the chart doesn't adjust after I Control-Z. We were up 75% in 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks, to be precise. This weekly candle started on the 28th here, so we're not even done with the third week. A 75% move after breaking all-time highs. Guys, I mean, this is far off from what we saw in the last cycle. It's way overtly optimistic. Now, I understand why this is happening. We are getting serious institutional interest in FOMO, and I think that this is relatively justified now that we understand just how crazy things are on the basis of FOMO and people getting excited in the institutional space, right? The fear of missing out. But at the same time, as much as I do believe we're going to recover a good amount of these gains here for Bitcoin over the next couple of hours, this is definitely going to leave a stain on the chart here. And it's going to get people a little bit cautious about buying Bitcoin at these levels, as some companies, some larger firms, are out there taking profit. Now, I'm not talking about the micro strategies of the world. There's other companies who are in the same boat, either hedge funds, whales in the space. And don't doubt that even though there's a lot of institutional interest in Bitcoin, there can still also be, in a short period of time, a lot of fixed sell side pressure that can shift the trend, especially on these over exuberant cycles. I'm going to start using exuberant a lot more because we are seeing exuberance throughout the market. My old favorite term in 2017. Now, taking this into account here and just going straight here to the chart, what are we going to be watching for over the next 24 hours for Bitcoin? Then we're going to dive into altcoins here. The general trend here that I think is going to play out, if we take our polyline tool here, so we're going to continue to climb here over the next couple of hours and test up on this line. If we face resistance on this, right, we'll probably test it a few times. We'll start to pull back here on a slower basis and retest these lows going downward, right? But anyways, I digress. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen in the sense of price, but I will tell you all that I think that it's likely we're going to face resistance at this line here, and we're going to slowly start to kind of consolidate and pull back and try to make something, on the lower range here for Bitcoin, maybe make this support to some degree. But the major thing is that we're going to be seeing this pullback in Bitcoin, and I genuinely feel from what I'm seeing here and the stark decline here that we saw here on the daily, it's going to lead a lot of investors, especially wiping out pretty much a week's worth of gains here, to look towards alternative investments in the market that are outperforming, that are leading against Bitcoin. And take a look at Ethereum here. Ethereum last night broke above the big even level of $1,000, its highest level we've seen in over 4 years. But the important thing to keep in mind here, to not overcomplicate things and not really focus here on the short-term price action. Ethereum's generally doing what Bitcoin's doing here and recovering on the US dollar chart. That's pretty common. The important thing to think about is to look at Ethereum's actual chart. I'm not even going to take a look at the daily. I want to look here at the weekly. Take a look here. The Ethereum all-time highs back in January of 2018 were a little bit above $1,400, around $1,440 at the exact precise high on most exchanges. We didn't even break those all-time highs yet, guys. And this is a critical point I'm going to be hitting on here. You guys know that I have been excessively diligent. I've almost seemed crazy at times calling for an impending altcoin cycle. And how even though during the pullback in altcoin dominance, even during all the brutalness of this pullback, through the upward swings and downward swings where Bitcoin has been absolutely outpacing the market, I've said I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to hold my altcoin positions. I'm going to hit on that point in just a little bit here. But we can see here that Ethereum dominance shot up like a rocket against Bitcoin. The ETH-BTC ratio shot up big time, which means that Ethereum is starting to gain big time against Bitcoin. And we basically brought ourselves back to a position here that we haven't seen since early September. To put that lightly, guys, in 2 days, that's going to mean that we basically made up for 4 months worth of price action, September, October, November, December, up into this point here into January. A massive recovery here for Ethereum, basically taking us back to the first correction point in the summer. Take a look here at altcoin dominance as well. Not as bright and good as Ethereum here, as you're weighing in a lot of different cryptocurrencies, and XRP has played a big role in this decline here, to be fair. But this is still a significant rebound, going from a low here, exact value being around 26.37% altcoin dominance, all the way up to 30.86%, and the actual high being around 32% here, in a matter of less than 48 hours. Take a look at that hourly chart. Big bolster here, starting to set in new relative highs, not just in this case higher lows, right? We want to set up here, we want to make a new support range and continue on this. That's what we're going to be looking for. But above all, guys, this is absolutely phenomenal bouncing in the sense of altcoin dominance, right? And taking a look here at the weekly and the long term, we bounced off that historical support. It was that worst case scenario thing where we actually came back down, tested that support, and now it's looking like we're going to see a reversal here. So what's the point that I want to share with everyone here? Don't get caught 2 steps behind. It's a very critical point that I drill in a lot here. Guys, I want to emphasize to you a little bit, because I know there's some new people to the channel. There's even some of you who've watched it for a long time, and you guys still are curious sometimes about how I trade markets. If you haven't picked it up by now, or maybe this is your first time viewing the channel, maybe you're still relatively new, I do not day trade, maybe on an occasion with a small portion of my portfolio for fun. But the thing is, I genuinely do not day trade in this market. You are going to likely lose day trading in most markets. Maybe in crypto you can make money, but the stress you're going to put into it, and along with that as well, the lack of performance you're going to have comparative to just simply swing trading over long-term time frames or hodling and dollar cost averaging, you are going to lose out most likely. I do not day trade. And my whole goal is simple. I know in this case that on the broader cycle that we have seen historically time and time again, especially in the previous cycle, what we have to work off of, that in this case, Bitcoin is going to do phenomenally well. but generally speaking, altcoins tend to outpace Bitcoin. And this is not just simply because they're better projects than Bitcoin. No, I'm not here to really argue fundamentals. It's because altcoins have exuberantly shown that they outpace Bitcoin during bull markets. And after 80 to 90% corrections against Bitcoin going into bear markets, they tend to make back those gains. It's a very simple thesis. And the whole point here about the not getting caught 2 steps behind is not getting caught in the short-term movement of one cryptocurrency versus another. It is extremely emotional to get, and I understand, I've been there, guys. It's easy to get caught up in the volatility. I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm not berating anyone. I've been there. I just want to help you guys learn in this case. Because if I would have, in this case, if any of us would have basically FOMO'd into Bitcoin at the top here, while altcoins were still at rock bottom, if they would have sold their altcoin positions at this range of dominance here, what you would be left with is being in a downward position after already taking all these losses from lost gains from holding altcoins versus Bitcoin. So that would have already been bad. And now you would actually be down on your Bitcoin position. Whereas in the case of Ethereum, if you want to take it to the dollar chart here, right, over the last few days, in the same time that we've closed down multiple days worth of gains for Bitcoin, Ethereum is now testing still back around $1,000. It was just at $1,150 just a couple of hours ago. You do not want to find yourself 2 steps behind, because if you were holding altcoins through this entire time, more specifically Ethereum, you made back months worth of losses against Bitcoin in 48 hours. The market will turn in an instant. And I can't drill this enough. I know I'm probably shouting at this point and I sound like I'm rambling. This is so critical to understand, guys. I've seen too many people get burnt. It really gets me a bit emotional here. And this is why on the newsletter, I had multiple weeks worth of averages that I made into different cryptocurrency plays from fiat. I've made many announcements here on the channel about how I was sticking to my guns in altcoins. And this is proof in the pudding. It's proof in the pudding that you cannot get sidetracked. You cannot let your emotions get the better of you, and you need to focus on the longer term trend. We've generally seen here that we're in a broad uptrend here for Ethereum. It's been outpacing Bitcoin since September 2019, since we flipped on altcoins. And we've been setting on these higher lows, albeit it's been very volatile. But what I think we need to learn to do here is maybe take profit better once we make these extended rallies over Bitcoin. Perhaps. Maybe that's something we need to consider. But I got to tell you guys, with this kind of movement, this is outpacing anything we've seen here over the last 2 years. I think this time is very, very different. We're going to start seeing altcoins pick up big time as massive levels of institutional liquidity have started to push Bitcoin's value to exuberant levels. And as we all know, as Bitcoin's value increases, once that trickles down into altcoins, that's going to mean that there's fresh new liquidity to speculate on other cryptocurrencies. Thinking this time around it's going to be any different, in my opinion, is not going to play out very well. So, guys, I've rambled on a bit here. The last thing I want to say overall here is taking a look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. A lot of people by now have pointed this out, that we've been kind of overextended here since November. I get it very clearly, and I agree with the Bitcoin bulls here, that this market is different this time around. I'm not really expecting Bitcoin to just absolutely sell off or anything of the sort. I think that it's going to probably consolidate and slightly sell off over time as liquidity circulates here to altcoins. Do not sleep on the potential altcoin cycle that's forming here. I'm not going to make any calls. I've probably made it one or too many times in the past when it ended up just being a nice run up in altcoins, but not really per se the altcoin cycle. We'll see here. I want more days of follow through on altcoin dominance and be a bit more disciplined here. But overall, this is significant. This is signaling very closely to a trend reversal. And again, take this to heart, guys. Don't get caught 2 steps behind. Stick to your guns. Focus on those long-term perspectives. And I got to say one last thing. You guys watched the altcoin video? I hope you have. It's definitely a great video that can get you prepared for this altcoin cycle. And guys, could we have timed it any better? January 1st, 2 days before one of the biggest leaps in altcoin dominance. So I think we got kind of lucky on that. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. If you like this video, drop a like, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. And until the next video, everyone, see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.